Welcome back, boxing fans, to another great show with Sean on Boxing, going live in Typhoon, Taiwan. Day two. Day one, barely any rain, nothing really happened. So we will see what happens tonight and tomorrow. Wish me luck, even though I'm sure we'll do well. Right, Lily? She doesn't look too worried. Me neither. But, we are in Taichung. Generally, Taichung does not have too many problems with typhoons. So, today, as you can see, we're going to be talking about the upcoming fight next weekend between Beterbiev and Bivol. Thank God the fight's finally here. Also, following that weekend of boxing, we have a great doubleheader card from Japan, which we're going to be talking about. Next week is going to be off the fucking hook. So we're going to talk about these three cards and more. So stay tuned to that. We're going to chop it up. Feel free to join us in the conversation in the comment section. Let's keep it classy. Welcome back. My little fancy pewter cup for my whiskey. So today we're talking boxing. Henrik, what's up, my man? Thanks for jumping in. Thanks for joining. So obviously there's a lot to talk about. This potential fight card with Bivol and Beterbiev is something we've been looking forward to for a long time. Unfortunately, an injury delayed it, but praise the Lord. The fight is finally here, and it's one worth talking about. Harder Corals in the house. Nice, Sean. Right on time. Right on time. This is one of the best fights in history. I saw people yesterday. We were talking about it a little bit on the live. We were talking about where do you think the winner of this fight really falls on the top light heavyweight list of all time. And I definitely think the winner of this is going to be a legitimate top 10 light heavyweight in history, easily. I have no doubt with that. Drunk Irishman's in the house. So, stylistically, this is exactly what you want as a boxing fan. A guy with an undefeated record, 100% KO ratio, going in there against a slick boxer who's looked great. Yesterday, people were criticizing Bivol's resume, saying it's not really great, even though he's beaten world champion Smith. He's beaten pound for pound future Hall of Famer Canelo Alvarez, and then he beat two-weight world champion Zurdo Ramirez. So, those three fights in themselves are better than the majority of boxers in the sport today, right? Specifically, the Canelo Alvarez fight. I, for one, I'm not a huge Bivol fan. Obviously, I prefer guys that are much more boxer punchers like Beterbiev. So I'm hoping Beterbiev still has enough left in the gas tank at 39 years old to get the victory, because I think it would be way better. I think it would just be excellent, right? If Bivol wins, to be fair, Bivol is younger. Obviously, he's got younger legs and more left in the gas tank. Potentially, we could see him in with a Canelo in a rematch and maybe a David Benavidez. But for me, I would much rather see Beterbiev go in there, continue his knockout streak, going to 21-21, and then see if David Benavidez is really serious about taking on a legitimate opponent, right? That's what I hope to see. But, we will see after the fight next weekend how it unfolds. Obviously, it's a great matchup. Andre's in the house. Sean, do you like Yafai's chances in that fight with Sonny Edwards? Well, Yafai and Edwards, I think it's a great matchup. Obviously, the question would be, is it too early for Yafai? Because he is young. Obviously, he's been fast-tracked because he's not young, right, as far as age, but he's young as a professional. Obviously, he's been an amateur for a long time, ended up winning a gold medal for the UK, and people really envision him being better than his two brothers. So based on that, you would think that he really has the tools to be better than Sonny Edwards. But Sonny Edwards obviously is a more experienced fighter, has a tough style. So it's a good fight. I would edge Yafai myself, but I would not be surprised if Edward wins a boring fight with him. I'm a fan of both. Very interesting styles. It is, right? Like, I mean, the one thing that really sort of obviously comes up, a few points. So point number one, obviously Beterbiev's age, right? He's almost 40 years old. So that's a big issue because at that age, you never really know how it's going to impact him, if he's going to fall off the cliff right away, or, if he has more in the gas tank. We saw Golovkin, and, you could really see the decline. Like, it was obvious when he fought Murata, it was not the same fighter we'd seen before. And then that version of him versus Canelo was a very shot past his prime version. Um, Also, point two, he's coming off of an injury. He was never the most fleet of foot athlete, right? But still, he needs to use his legs to cut off the ring, to slide into range. He needs good balance. So that all starts with your legs. We saw what happened to Sergio Martinez when his legs were shot. He was a shell of himself, right? And so the question is, are his knees good? Is his balance going to be good? Is he going to be able to slide into range, put pressure with his front foot on Bivol, get him on the ropes, where obviously if he got him on the ropes, that's where we would expect him to start breaking Bivol down with his heavy hands and heavy punches. If Bivol can keep the fight in the middle of the ring, use his feet to control the distance, and just put his short punches together in combination, then obviously he could go on to win. The question is, can he do more than win? Can he have a spectacular victory, potentially stopping Beterbiev, right? It'll be interesting. There's a lot of similarities between Beterbiev and Canelo, but in truth, you'd have to favor Beterbiev, right? He's taller. He's a more natural light heavyweight. He's basically the same size as Bivol. So arm reach, height, everything else. He also has a very good jab, very powerful jab. He also has higher punch output than Canelo Alvarez does. Shows a much better gas tank, but his chin isn't as good, or it hasn't seemed as good as Canelo Alvarez. So obviously there's a weakness there, right, as far as his chin. The question is, does Bivol hit hard enough to capitalize on that, right? And that's some of the things that we obviously have to wait and see. If Beterbiev becomes undisputed, who would Arthur fight next? Would he fight Canelo? Well, he said that he's not interested in Canelo, but that's prior to this fight. So I think that's much to do about nothing. The reality of the situation is, for him to defend undisputed against Canelo Alvarez would be a career high payday. It would be a great fight, right? People would have to praise Canelo for stepping up to take on that monster, right? Because that would be something people would not expect him to do. And for Arthur, I mean, obviously he's going to think Canelo is too small, but Canelo's only coming up one weight division. So, that's not really that important. If he doesn't fight him, then who's he going to fight, right? You have David Benavidez, but who really thinks David Benavidez is going to fight anybody outside the PBC? I don't, right? So, outside of Canelo Alvarez, who else does he have? Buatsi, right, is a potential opponent as well. But that's not a fight that's that intriguing. Nobody's going to get super excited to watch him fight Buatsi. I guess if he went to the UK to fight Buatsi, he could guarantee himself a good payday then. He could also fight on one of the Saudi cards because he also is a Muslim. So, they might be interested in throwing some cash towards him. Obviously, this card is part of the Saudi card as well. Where are we? Suchan, YTBC. What's up, Wayne Evans? Do you think Beterbiev can outbox him or win by decision? I think he can win by decision, but I don't think it's going to be based on outboxing him. He wasn't outboxing Vostik, so I don't think he's going to outbox Bivol. What he's going to do is break him down. But in breaking him down, he could still go on to win the fight by decision, right? Just from dropping him, from being more aggressive, from hurting him, from landing cleaner shots, not really being impacted by what Bivol throws back. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, it's an interesting fight. It could go either way, and that's why this is a great 50-50 matchup. Wish I was there for the winners in yesterday's live, or the whiners. Ah, yes, Roy, you missed out. Uh, Wagwan Sean. Wagwan Sean. Sorry, I gotta say it 2 times before I actually fucking understood what you're saying. Wagwan. What you? Jamaican, brother. J.A. Who has the trainer advantage? To be fair, I don't really know anything about Bivol's trainer. I know about Beterbiev's trainer. Obviously, he's Canadian. I'm Canadian, so I'm far more familiar with him. I've also seen people from that team do interviews. But as far as Bivol's trainer, I'm not really sure. I mean, we can't be critical of them because so far they've done everything right, right? So, I guess we'll find out on fight night. Beterbiev throws rabbit punches. Good. Throw rabbit punches. Fucking beat that motherfucker up. Do what it takes to win. That's old school boxing. That's what Andre Ward did. So what's the issue? And he's effective with them. Of course he's effective with them. He fights a lot like Rocky Marciano, right? And that's what Canelo tried to do with Bivol, but he was not effective with it. But Beterbiev is a much bigger man and I think a much harder puncher than Canelo Alvarez, and obviously a far higher punch output. Sean John's still crying in the comments. He got cooked bad. I didn't see. That dude is just a troll. His name tells you everything you need to know. Like, the problem is, I don't mind when people have an opinion. You don't have to agree with me. That doesn't, well, I don't care. But just fucking stop contradicting yourself from one fighter to the next. That's all. Beterbiev is actually just an all around better fighter than Canelo. Well, defensively, he's not better, right? And obviously, we haven't seen him against so much elite competition throughout his career like we've seen Canelo. So I think that comment is easily to be conceived as somebody that's just as anti Canelo Alvarez. Obviously, he's better at these bigger weights than Canelo, but that's not Canelo's natural weight, right? If you throw Beterbiev into the heavyweight division, let's see how effective he's going to be there, right? Like, he's effective where he is right now against the competition he's fighting. But what elite superstar fighter has he beaten today, right? Like, I know people criticize Bivol's resume yesterday, but I would say that Bivol's resume, thanks to Zerto and Canelo, is better than Beterbiev's resume. And not to criticize Beterbiev, he has more world champions on his resume. Obviously, he's unified more titles. He has Vosdick, which is a solid win. But, Vosdick, his best win was beating an old one-handed fighter who obviously was past his prime in Adonis Stevenson. What was Canelo's best weight class then? Well, in truth, you'd have to say his best weight class was probably 154 pounds when he was bringing his defensive skills together, right, with his offensive skills. Obviously, once he got to middleweight, it kind of perfectly came together, but he didn't fight at middleweight that long. Outside of Golovkin fights and Danny Jacobs, obviously it would have been great if he would have had the the Andrade fight for undisputed, but obviously the IBF fucked that up, and then so he left the division a little prematurely. He fought Cotto, but I mean, that fight, you have to say it's more of a 154-pound fight, 154-pound fighters matching up against one another. Beterbiev Bivol is a true 50-50 fight. Yes, it is. Bivol's getting smoked. Well, Bivol has everything he needs to beat 40-year-old Beterbiev, right? He's got a jab. He's got faster hands. He's got straight combination punching. He's got far better feet, faster feet. He's able to control the distance with his feet. As long as he stays off the ropes, he has a very good chance of winning this fight, right? A very good chance of winning this fight. But the question is Beterbiev going to be able to pressure him with his feet and his jab to the ropes, right? We will see what happens. If he's able to do that, then he'll be effective. If Bivol is able to back up Beterbiev or control the middle of the ring, then you have to lean towards Bivol. Iceman's in the house. Canelo made Bivol look vulnerable in spots, especially against the ropes. When Beterbiev gets Bivol against the ropes, he's not just going to throw a left hook, then let him off the hook. Yeah, well, that's what I say. I mean, if Beterbiev can get Bivol on the ropes, if his feet and his ability to slide and pressure Bivol with his feet is as good as Canelo Alvarez, which we don't know if it is or isn't. We'll find out that night. Then he's going to be effective. And as I said, I think he's going to win and potentially win by a knockout if he can get Bivol on the ropes. But if he can't get Bivol on the ropes, I would have to favor Bivol to win by decision. Yard or Zurdo, what's a better win? Beterbiev smoked Joe Smith while Joe hurt Bivol. Bivol won easy, but he did get caught in the fight. But I mean, outside of that, he was winning the fight pretty clearly. But yeah, what Beterbiev did to Joe Smith was fucking just dominance, right? He never gave that dude a fucking chance to do anything. He saw what punch was open, and he started hitting him with that from round one, and fucking didn't stop until that motherfucker was laid out on the canvas. I would have to say that Yard obviously is a great win, right? Zurdo, I think, is a great win as well, especially the way Bivol dominated him, right? Dominated him. Like, that fight was not competitive at all. But that doesn't mean that Yard is a better fighter just because he was more competitive with Beterbiev. That might have to show the dominance of Bivol, right? And that's why I say this fight is tough to call, because when you look at it that way, you can't really compare just from the eye test, because who knows who's better between Zurdo and Yard. Zurdo just went up to cruiserweight, easily won a world title. I think he's easily going to beat Billum Smith to unify titles. And then the only guy at that division that anyone's going to think potentially could beat him is Jay Opataya, who's a really good fighter, right? Could Anthony Yard go up to cruiserweight and be as dominant in that weight class as Zurdo is? Right? I like Anthony Yard. I think he's a good opponent for sure. I would love to see him against Beterbiev. I'd love to see him against, Boazzi. We will see. Where are we? Looks like you're doing okay with the typhoon out there. Yeah, it's not impacting me. I'm just sitting at home drinking whiskey. I took the dog out for walks a lot because it's not raining yet. It's a little windy, but that's all. We're getting tomorrow off as well, so that's not bad. It's been a short week. And next week is Taiwan's birthday, so we have a 4-day work week then as well. So perfect. Canelo will never fight Beterbiev. Bivol gave Canelo a one-sided beatdown. Beterbiev would just outright destroy Canelo. But Beterbiev is a different fighter than Bivol. Beterbiev would bring it to Canelo, which plays into Canelo's style of fighting. He prefers a guy that does that. Example, Golovkin, right? And I like Beterbiev, but his jab is not as effective as Golovkin's is. His chin is not as good as Golovkin's is. Is his power better? Maybe, but you'd have to say they're similar, right? As far as who was a better amateur and better pro, I think Golovkin was. But obviously, Beterbiev is a bigger fighter than Golovkin. Zurdo, Canelo will never. Zurdo is a better win. Zurdo, a 2-time division champion. Yard hasn't won a belt. Yeah. I got Beterbiev by late stoppage. Good. You'll be right. This fight is not as close as people are making it out to be. Yeah, it could be that way. Bivol easily fucking beats Beterbiev. Beterbiev would beat Canelo worse than Bivol. Well, that's an opinion, but based on what? What exactly is Beterbiev going to do more effectively than Bivol? Zurdo and Yard's best wins are on the same level. Zurdo is fighting so many soft touches, while Yard is fighting Kovalev and Beterbiev. Yeah, that's true. But He lost those 2 fights, right? So you got to also keep that into perspective. Sorry. He did fight, sorry, Lily. He did fight better opposition for sure, but he also lost. I got Bivol by UD, and I would not be surprised at all if that's the way that fight turns out. Not at all. You know, obviously, if I was betting money on it, I would probably bet for Bivol to win by unanimous decision. But because I'm a Beterbiev fan, I'm leaning towards Beterbiev because he's the fighter I prefer. Stylistically, he's the fighter I like. But as history shows us, a lot of time those boring, slick fighters end up winning, especially against boxer punchers, which is what Beterbiev is. So if Beterbiev wants to beat a boxer, he's going to have to be a lot more front foot and put a lot more pressure. And at 40 years old, can he do that? Can he fight like Zepeda? Winner of Bivol versus Beterbiev, fighter of the year, or is it Usyk if he beats Fury again? Well, if Usyk beats Fury again, for sure it's fucking Usyk. For sure. I mean, obviously both of these guys became undisputed champions, but historically, you'd have to say what Usyk did is far more historic, right? Let's just put it that way. It's far more historic than what Beterbiev or Bivol is going to do. And not to say that Fury is better, but Fury is more accomplished than Bivol and Beterbiev, right? Has a better resume, accomplished more, won all the world titles, won the lineal title. Yeah, I definitely think that Usyk's year was better. Got to be Usyk. I agree. I just see Bernie the boxer saying Bud is going for a 3-time undisputed. Well, that's the gossip and the talk, and let's hope that's true, because that's what I said all along. I think if I was Bud Crawford, I mean, sure, if you can get the Canelo Alvarez fight and the big money, you do it, because why wouldn't you? But at the same time, if you can fight Fortuna, and become a 3-belt champion, and then have only Tim Tszyu in front of you for undisputed, you'd be stupid not to go for that, because it's literally 2 fights away from becoming a 3-time undisputed champion. You accomplish that, and maybe you can still then get the the Canelo Alvarez fight, right? Far more probably likely that you will get the Canelo Alvarez fight, because at that point, Canelo's going to have less potential opponents. You've just done something that is fucking historic in your 3rd weight division, beating guys that are huge and long, like obviously Funduro, and then guys with big name attached to them like Tim Tszyu. You do that, and I heard people saying, "Oh, then you can fight." Who was it? Who fucking said that? Oh, IBFP. He was saying then he could fight Boots and Ortiz, who he turned down fights to fight. I don't understand what's wrong with people and the narratives they push. Because both of those fighters were WBO mandatories. They could have forced Bud Crawford to fight them for his WBO title. Yet both of them walked away from mandatory world title fights with Bud Crawford to go chase other fights. Ortiz chased the WBA regular title fight with Stanionis. Less money, not a legitimate title. What the fuck? Right? And Boots Ennis went the IBF route to chase after Errol Spence. So Bud Crawford wasn't ducking anyone. Those fucking guys blatantly fucking ducked him, just like Danny Garcia and fucking Ugis did, who were also WBO mandatory fighters. Dudes just need to keep the shit real, man. Where are we? Canelo should be in contention for Fighter of the Year with an amazing historical wins over Munguia and Berlanga. Both solid wins, but now you're just being sarcastic. But both solid wins, 2 undefeated fighters, right? Both hungry fucking lions. Both guys that can go on to have very good careers, and then you'll be choking on those words. Beterbiev is a much more effective pressure fighter than Golovkin and can mentally break you down. I don't think Canelo withstands that Beterbiev's pressure. It's Funduro, not Fortuna. Yeah. Shut up. Whatever. It's fucking 10:30 my time. I guess Canelo Inui card was just rumors. I was confused by Canelo would go to Japan to be on Inui undercard. Well, I don't think he was going to be on the undercard. I thought Inui would be on the undercard and Canelo would be the headliner fighting Murata, right? Which would make sense because Inui's only fighting Sam Goodman. So while it's a big fight, it ain't really a fight that could fucking fill the Tokyo Dome, right? Let's be honest. It's not really a fight that people are too interested in, even Japanese boxers, boxing fans. Somebody said that they think Beterbiev would beat Usyk at cruiserweight. I think I might agree. Fuck off, David. Oh my God. Because he beat him in the amateurs does not mean he's going to beat him in the fucking pros, especially at heavyweight. Especially now that the dude's 40 fucking years old, right? Come on, man. Come on. I got Funduro by UD if the fight happens. Oh my God. Come on, Evan. Never seen Crawford fight someone that big. He's slowing down at his age. Seems like Crawford has issues holding the center of the ring and fighting. Based on what? Fighting Madrimov, who moved like fucking crazy, didn't fucking sit down on any punches, which is why he lost the fight. It's a completely different fighter. Funduro doesn't have the same movement, the in and out, back and forth, constantly feinting, fucking never sitting down on his punches. He's going to be right there in front of fucking Bud Crawford, open for fucking counter shots. That dude ain't going 8 rounds with fucking Bud Crawford. On the front foot occasionally. Virgil and Boots already ducked Crawford. You snooze, you lose. Exactly. Wanted those fights to happen, though. Yeah, of course, right? But it is what it is. They had it, but what they hoped is that they would get vacant titles, right? Which is what they would have got. Obviously, Ortiz would have got a vacant title as well, but unfortunately, health issues got in the way of that. I erased it. Hypothetically, Madrimov Funduro, winner of Tim Tszyu, Backroom, Bud finishes his career 3-time undisputed. Where do you rank him all time? I don't like these kind of questions because it's too vague. You're talking about different eras, right? Now there's 4 belts, undisputed. Other guys used to be undisputed all the time. It was normal. That's what they were. You have 1 title, you were undisputed. Then there was the WC and the WBA title. You beat the other champion, you're undisputed, right? It's only because boxing's so fucked up that now this is something that we go for, because otherwise there's 4 fucking champions and no one knows which one is really legitimate. But back in the day, everybody knew who was legitimate. You had to fucking go through the top 10 contenders to earn a world title fight, right? So that's how you proved your ability. Whereas today, guys fight a bunch of bullshit fights against nobodies, get sanctioned bodies that push them in the number 1 position, like fucking William Skull, who hasn't beat a top 10 fucking opponent, but somehow he's the guy that Canelo Alvarez has to fight. That's going to prove Canelo Alvarez is great by beating this fucking dude. Come on. Obviously, Bud Crawford, you're going to rate him with the modern guys. Pacquiao, Roman Gonzalez, Floyd Mayweather, Tony, Roy Jones, Andre Ward, and all the guys from this kind of era, De La Hoya, Trinidad. And I think he's right in there with all of them, right? I mean, I'm not going to pick and choose because the truth is they're all in there, Beterbiev coming off of an injury. Yes, that is an issue. I said at cruiserweight, laugh out loud. And Usyk isn't a spring chicken. BT from True School Sports said that. Of course, BT does. But BT's got the worst fucking takes ever. I was going to open my video with this, but you just brought BT up. So let's follow this up. The worst thing these YouTubers can do is get too close to boxers. because at that point they just become fucking ridiculous with their fucking takes. Him and Inui going to 126 just so he fucking can get an Angelo Leo fight, because that's what he wants. He wants Angelo Leo to get a Inui fight to get a payday, and Angelo Leo can beat Inui and become a superstar. That is never going to happen. Angelo Leo is never going to become a superstar fucking ever. Not in this world. Maybe one of the other fucking worlds fucking somewhere else, but not this world. Not the one we're living in right now. This is no different than the LDBC. That's what BT is doing with all this Angelo Leo stuff, right? And these bad takes that he's pushing out. It's like the LDBC kissing fucking Wilder's ass, kissing Spence's ass, kissing Devin Haney's ass, because these guys got relationships with these fighters. They fucking are just biased as fuck, like knockout boxing, right? That's the good thing about me. I don't have a relationship with any of these people. I don't know who they are. I don't care. I'm not trying to get a relationship with them. I'm not trying to get fucking autographs. I'm not trying to do interviews. I'm not trying to get them to sign my fucking jersey, right? These guys lose their perspective of professionalism. And I know we're not professional media people, but the takes they fucking give are fucking terrible. Terrible. Like, he's saying that because he always wants to be cutting edge. Whenever you listen to his channel, right, he's always telling you how he's done something before everybody else because he's cutting edge. He's the only one talking about Japanese boxing. He's the only one that talked about these people. He's the only one that likes Roman Gonzalez. It's like, I mean, it's nice that you want to pat yourself on the back, but let your ego fucking move away for a minute, because nobody cares about you, right? People just want to hear boxing talk. That's it. Fucking Madrimov pushed Crawford back all night. Crawford rarely moved his head and is very hittable. Funduro will keep Crawford at bay with his jab all night. Evan Deere, it's a terrible fucking take. Terrible take. You giving Andre Mikhailovsky any shot in Australia versus Janibek? Marginal. I expect Janibek to beat his ass, but, anything can happen. Keyshawn Davis is taking a tougher fight than Tank is. Food for thought. That's a fact. 100% fact, right? 100% fact. It's ironic because I just heard JB today, basically just shit on Tank Davis's resume. And he thought what he was doing was fucking fanboying fucking Devin Haney and shitting on Inui. But in the process, what he did is basically discredit all fucking Tank Davis's resume by saying, it's more important who you fight. Anybody could have a world title. Look at Rolly Romero. Yeah, exactly. Yet John is the same person that said Tank Davis has fought 10 world champions. Right? That's the hypocrisy from fucking people like him. He's going to fucking dick ride Tank Davis fighting 10 world champions, now 11. But then he's going to crap on Inui to say that Inui is just fighting fucking champions for belts that don't mean anything. But yet his whole narrative shoots fucking Bud Crawford in the foot as well. Because literally that's what people say about his resume fucking all the time. That's what Errol Spence fans said for 5 years about Bud Crawford's resume. But he's so stupid, he doesn't see how he's fucking shitting on Tank's resume, shitting on Bud Crawford's resume, all to do what? Try to crap on Inui and fanboy for fucking Devin Haney. Because Lomachenko is a better win than anything on Inui's resume. Well, it's also fucking a better win than anything on fucking Bud Crawford's resume. It's also a better win than anything on Tank Davis's resume. So, you can't explain fucking people like this. But Keyshawn, what Top Rank is doing. They're getting ready to put him in with the WBO champion to become a champ. And then if Lomachenko doesn't fight Tank Davis in 2025, look for Lomachenko to fight Keyshawn Davis. Crawford's defense is the counterpunching. Good luck counterpunching someone 7 to 8 inches taller than Crawford with a longer reach, fighting behind his jab. Evan, do you listen to yourself talk? The one thing you can count on is Funduro fucking being off balance, overthrowing, fucking being open for fucking counter punches, just like he was versus Tim Tszyu. Right? The difference is Bud Crawford's reach is 4 inches tall, longer than Tim Tszyu. He's a way better fucking counterpuncher than Tim Tszyu. Alonzo, cooking attorney, what's up? He's not going to stick his face out at Bud like Spence did, trust me. Oh, okay. Yes, I mean, now all of a sudden, the dude's going to be fucking right behind that jab, moving behind fucking Muhammad Ali footwork, throwing that jab out all night, just going circles around fucking Bud Crawford. Oh my God. If Crawford wants to beat Funduro, they have to take it to him and try to bag him up and another his work. I don't think he can do it. Of course you don't, because you're historically a Bud Crawford hater and an Errol Spence fanboy. Yeah, plus there wasn't a million weight classes for guys to duck and hide. Exactly. Does Bivol Beterbiev have a rematch clause? I don't think so. I don't think Saudi Arabia gets down that way because they're going to give you great fights one way or the other. They're going to make the fights that make sense. So if a rematch makes sense, that's what they're going to do. If another fight makes more sense, that's what they're going to do. Opataya said he welcomes a big fight with Beterbiev Bivol winner. Even though that fight's ridiculous, you're going to get a 175-pound fighter to move up to 200 pounds. Right? Makes no sense at all. BT still has a fun channel. Yeah, it sucks that the Janibek fight is in the morning in the States. I saw a video of Sekbak claiming Crawford had a trash resume just to put Tank and Benavidez above Crawford on his pound-for-pound list. Am I crazy how so many non-credible people got a voice in boxing now? Ali Sekbak's a tool, right? Who fucking literally blows fucking Tank Davis. Literally. There's video out there. But you're going to fucking, who's going to listen to that guy? Does anyone even watch fucking Ali Sekbak? Like, his videos don't even pop up on my feed. And I'm happy. Because never has he ever put out a video that's nothing more than fucking clickbait and pure bullshit. Right? He's another guy who's fucking in there too close with boxers, where he has no fucking reality to the sport of boxing that they're talking about. Funduro wasn't reaching against Tim Tszyu. Tim Tszyu was much faster feet than Crawford. Keep telling yourself that. Tszyu and Boa stopped Crawford. Evan, you just expose your fucking Errol Spence fanboyism, dude. Like, literally, you're picking fucking B-level fighters. That's who you're pushing. Boa and Tim Tszyu wouldn't fucking beat Madrimov. I guarantee it. Guarantee it. And we'll find out when fucking Madrimov knocks out Boachuk when that fight gets fucking signed, sealed, and delivered, which is coming up soon. I think it's going to be on the Fury Usyk undercard. Zerto destroyed Billy Smith, and Richard Torres Jr. always been better than hype job Jared. Well, I don't know about that. Mexican boxing #1. Let's not let your fucking nationality blind you just because people look like you and have similar names to you. Let's be open as a boxing fan that so far Richard Torres Jr. hasn't done fucking anything. And he's the last guy I saw fucking flatlined by a Uzbekistanian in the middle of the ring. Got caught by a fucking left hand and was fucking flopping around like a fucking dead fish. Right? And what he's done in the pros is fucking push a porn stash. And that's the best thing he's done as a pro. As far as Zerto, Zerto's good. He's going to beat Bill Smith. But is he going to beat fucking Jay Opataya? He didn't beat fucking Bivol. Funduro beats him 8-4, 9-3. Yeah, okay. Keep telling yourself that. Not skilled enough to beat those guys. Watch. I hope the fight happens. I have Billum beating Zerto. It's a great fight, though. Oh, Jesus, dude. Now we got to give Crawford credit for beating Funduro after what these guys are saying. Exactly. Exactly. Right? I mean, it's fine. I want Bud Crawford to force Funduro to fucking step up and live up to his words. Because the only reason they're fighting him is because Errol Spence fight hasn't happened. Right? But they had no fucking interest in fighting Bud Crawford. But Turkey probably offered them some cash. and now they're coming around. Funduro winning for sure. Bud doesn't want that fight. He knows it's too risky. The power at 154 is different, and he realizes that. Man, so many dudes just come on channels to do nothing but hate. Like, there's no boxing fucking acumen. There's no common sense. It's just consistently hating on somebody for whatever fucking narrative or rationale is behind it. Crazy. Crawford would deserve credit if he beat Funduro. Dude 6'6", Crawford's 5'8". It's a feat to beat somebody that much bigger than you, let alone a world champion. The boxing voice is so good lately. No, it's not. Fucking that dude yesterday was trash. In the morning, Bernie, the coach, Crawford's friend, was going back and forth with Ness about Teo not deserving a Bud fight. Teo doesn't deserve a Bud fight. What has Teo fucking done? Teo literally walked away from a fucking fight on ESPN, Top Rank, just to fucking clickbait a bunch of people. He called out Howard. What happened with that fight? He fucking ran away from it. And now he's calling out Crawford, but he knows Crawford's not going to fight him. Why would he fight Teo? Teo looked shit in his last fucking fight. Evan isn't an Arrow fan. Laugh out loud. He's the opposite. Well, he sounded like a fucking Spence fan. Tank is pound for pound king. Is the title on every setback video now. Yeah, because setback is literally fucking blowing him. I think Bolchuk could easily beat Madrimov. I'm not saying he will, but he's better fundamentally, bigger, and has heavier punch. And fucking a glass chin. Let it go, Sean. You were big time wrong on that one. Which one was I big time wrong on? Jared is not in it, and Richard already beat him. Actually, I literally said in my breakdown of that fight that Bacoli could knock out Jared Anderson. I was one of the few channels in America literally giving Bacoli props and credit and saying that Jared Anderson was fucking taking a big risk against this opponent. So what do you mean I'm wrong in that one? I'm one of the few that was right, but okay, thank you. Him to get an Olympic spot, this winning silver. Yeah. Flopping on the floor by getting knocked out by Uzbekistanian. It's so different than he would go up to fight Canelo. Crawford did not beat Madrimov, or at least it was close, so he didn't do any better than Teo dude. I don't know what's wrong with fucking boxing fans. Are they just fucking deluded, demented, mental? Right? Is there too much fucking free medicine going around fucking in the States? What are you talking about, dude? Like, you cannot call yourself a boxing fan if you consistently have stupid fucking takes. Right? Teo got some legitimate fighters he could fight at 140. Hasn't fought them. He could move up and fight an in-house fight at 147 to become a 3-weight world champion. But he ducked that fight with Howard. And now we're supposed to believe that he's really interested in a Bud Crawford fight. Come on. Teo and Ryan, the biggest clout chasers in boxing. Facts. Both of those fucking guys. Sean, you've been wrong lately, just saying. Wrong with what? I'm also one of the few channels that said that Daniel Bois could very easily knock out fucking Anthony Joshua. One of the few channels that actually said that. So what was I wrong on? Two of the biggest upsets in boxing over the last couple of months, I predicted them, where other people were going the complete opposite way. But I've been wrong a lot lately. Okay. Yeah, Teo looked like shit against the bum. So how do people think he's a good fight for Tank? Well, because he's bigger, faster. Not faster than Tank, but faster than most of Tank Davis's opponents. Tank Davis been fighting smaller dudes that aren't that great. So Teo is a much better fighter than anybody Tank's been fighting. Crawford versus Madrimov was 50-50 for the first 10 rounds. I gave Crawford the fight based on the last 2 rounds. Yeah, but see, that's people just not really watching boxing. Matrimov was doing a lot of nothing. He wasn't throwing enough. And you watched my live, and I told you that during the fight. We broke it down, right? Dancing around looks nice, but it's not effective. You're not landing a fucking punch. Sure, you're making it hard for Bud Crawford to land effective punches against you. That's the only positive that came out of it. Teal went life and death with multiple scrubs. That's why I don't rate that guy. Teal beat Loma, deserves credit. Fucking Christ, man. That was fucking years ago. I don't rate the Josh Taylor win as much as other people. I think Taylor had been washed and weight drained since the first Cottrell fight. I'm American, and these motherfucking joke. These dudes' takes and mentalities are embarrassing. It's embarrassing, man. Right? It just shows their narrative-driven fucking bullshit that they push. Like, they can't just talk boxing rationally and realistically. They literally need to say the stupidest fucking clickbait type of stuff. You guys should totally start channels because you all sound like Fannin. I think Barros would beat Lopez. I'm not a Tank fan, but people still go over the top about who would stand a chance against him. I give Mario Barros a good chance to beat Lopez. He's taller, longer, right? He could use his jab to control distance. We know Tio hates guys that move away and use a jab. It would be a good fight, right? Sign me up for that fight. Barros is tailor-made for Lopez. Is he? I mean, sure, Lopez could catch him on the counter, but you could say that about every single person he's fought recently, and he looked terrible against the majority of them. Against Taylor, he looked fucking class. But as J.A. just said, he felt that Taylor was washed at that point. And so that's true. Maybe he was, right? Maybe he was. He did, not look great against Cottrell. Even though in the last fight with Cottrell, you could see that it's not that he doesn't look good against him. Stylistically, that's just a tough fight for both guys, right? I have Tio and Fundero beating Crawford. They're too strong and won't be scared to throw hands, while Madronov fainted way too much and seemed hesitant to throw. I guarantee Bud gets hit more versus them. Well, he couldn't get hit less because if you throw more, inevitably you should land more. But the reality is you're also going to fucking allow Bud Crawford to fucking counterpunch you. Do you like Turkey, Saudi national anthem being played in other countries? Who cares? Like, boxing fans are the biggest fucking whinging pricks out of every fucking sport worldwide. They played it in fucking California. They played it in fucking England. Who gives a shit? Saudi Arabia is paying fucking for everything. So if they want to play their fucking little national anthem, who literally gives a fuck? For me, I prefer fucking no one fucking plays the national anthem. I don't need that bullshit fucking being played at all for any sport. But it's part of sports, national anthems. And with Saudi Arabia being the ones that are doing the event, it's named after them. They're the ones footing the bill. Then they might as well fucking have at least their national anthem played. I don't understand why people fucking feel offended by that. People fucking just get offended by everything. Does that mean when fucking someone wins an Olympic medal and they play their fucking national anthem in the Olympics, you get butthurt and fucking hurt by it? Who cares? I tune it out. I go take a piss. I go get a beer. I don't fucking pay attention because I'm not interested. But at the same time, I'm not offended by it. Crawford destroys Tio. Destroys him. Who cares as long as they give us fights? Exactly. They're paying for it. They could fucking dress all the ring card girls fucking covered completely from head to toe, right? They could fucking not serve beer and alcohol at the fights. I don't fucking care because I'm not there anyway. So what do I care? Fundero wasn't too strong versus Mendoza, and Tio wasn't too strong versus Cambosis. Exactly. But he knows what he's saying is bullshit. He's just here to fucking talk out his ass. He don't believe what he's saying. Bud and Tio have chin. Yeah, okay. Watch Funduro versus Tim. Tim hit Funduro clean with big power shots in the second round. Funduro took it like nothing. I doubt Bud has anything to contain Funduro. You're just talking to talk, eh? That's all you're doing. From coming forward nonstop, he can also use his reach like he did versus Tim. Bud Crawford hate is catastrophic. It is, Hollow Ninja. These people are fucking moronic. Moronic. I don't understand why you'd hate Bud Crawford. He ain't a boring fighter. He's got a lot of personality. Dude's got real swag. Like when he fucking gets real on you, he's real. Didn't he fucking just slap Tio in the head? Like when they ran into each other? Right? Like, Bud Crawford's a fucking real one. He's no fucking joke. Right? He's not all over social media like a fucking little girl fucking putting out tweets like fucking Tio and Devin Haney and Shakur and Tank and fucking, the other one, Ryan Garcia. Right? This new era of boxer, fucking pansy ass motherfuckers. Right? Can't deal with fucking anything real. Funduro was on his way to getting stopped by Tim until that cut. Yes, he was. Bad examples, you guys don't know boxing. Versus George, he got up and almost stopped him. He got his ass beat so fucking bad in that fight. It was fucking humiliating. That's why I think he should rematch fucking George at 140 to get his revenge, right? It's a good fight, makes sense. But he's afraid to because literally Lomachenko stopped George. He's afraid that he's going to fight George again in the rematch and not do as well as fucking Lomachenko. And that would be a bad look if he goes life and death with George once again. So he'd rather fucking clout chase fucking a light heavyweight. Wait till he starts calling out the winner of Beterbiev and Bivol. I really like Crawford outside of the ring. I just wish the controversy with his gloves would get clarified. Who gives a fuck? Like, I don't understand you dudes, man. PDs, glove wraps, gloves, fucking this and that, contract negotiations, fucking purse splits. Why do you give a fuck about the boxing business? You're a fucking fan of the sport. Watch the fucking fights. Why are you fucking going to worry about all this other bullshit that has nothing to do with us, the fans? They got people in their corner to deal with this shit. So why are you worried about it? I ain't fucking worried about it at all. Fucking wrap your hands, cheat, fucking put whatever you want in your gloves, take steroids up your ass. Fucking if the other team is too stupid to fucking pay attention, then they get knocked the fuck out. Whatever. Funduro faced a strong, real 154-pound. Oh, come on, get over yourself. That's the same Funduro that got knocked the fuck out by Mendoza. Campbell got dropped in the 10th, but won the 11th and 12th to beat Tio for me. I thought Bud, his finger in Tio's face, on Tio slapped his hand out of his face, and Bud said he would slap Senior, and Senior said, come do it now. Fucking Senior. Drunk motherfucker. Right, fathers in boxing, I understand why people say they should be banned, because the majority of American boxing dads are fucking disgraceful. Disgraceful. These dudes are just so fucking thirsty for fucking attention because they could never do anything in their lives. So they're living vicariously through their sons. But yet, truthfully, who gives a fuck? I don't pay attention to them. I don't care about Devin Haney's dad. I don't listen to him in an interview. I don't give a fuck what he has to say. I don't care about fucking Lopez Sr. I don't care about Benavidez' fucking stupid dad that lies out his ass. I don't care about fucking Danny Garcia's fucking dad. I don't care about fucking any of these motherfuckers. Why would I? They're irrelevant. Irrelevant. Oh my God, dude. Nick Ball beats Rios this week. Who do you see next for him? I wouldn't be surprised to see him against, what's his face? Who's the fucking blonde-haired dude that was champion at WBA? Right? I expect him to fight some UK dude in the UK. because he's going to make more money doing that than he's going to get fighting anybody else outside of Inui. Chocolatito versus Takai at 118. Who wins? I'm hearing rumors that's going to be next. Yeah, that's what I've heard, right? But then, True School Sports was talking about how possibly he was going to fight WBO champion Tanaka. But I don't think that makes fucking sense. What's the point? Who gives a fuck, right? If he fights Takai, he can become a 5-weight world champion. If he fights fucking Tanaka, then what? He becomes a champion at 115 again. And then what? Who's he going to fight then? Bam. Ioka would be good, but Ioka got trouble in front of him trying to redeem his fucking last loss. So, and Tanaka, Roman Gonzalez fucking destroys Tanaka, even at fucking 37 years old. But I think he fucking destroys that Japanese kid, Takai. It's like what he did to 112-pound, what's his face? Martinez. Takai is similar to Martinez. Hard puncher, but technically wild, not fundamentally sound. Fuck, man. Roman Gonzalez is going to destroy that kid. Didn't Keyshawn knock Teo Sr. out in front of Teo and he didn't do shit? I don't know. Did he? Boxing facts, your credibility is gone since you claim Teo got an iron chin. What do you think about the Haney lawsuit? Once again, I don't give a fuck. I mean, I just hope the dude that Haney hit at the fucking amusement park is suing Devin Haney for as much money as he can get as well. Devin Haney is just waiting to get a fucking rematch with Ryan Garcia. So this whole fucking suit is pointless because both of those guys are waiting to collect more money off of boxing fans in the rematch. Sugar Nunez against Kasakai. Sign me up now that Warrington is out of the way. Boxing facts don't disappear when Crawford sleeps on Duro. Roy, he never been stopped. And when he got dropped, he got right away. Nobody's stopping Teo without having a slugfest. Bud is more Cheney than Teo. Maybe so. Thank you very much, Hollow Ninja. Bud Crawford, highest IQ in the sport, masterful counterpuncher, footwork specialist, switch hitter, speed and power in both hands. It doesn't stop, man. Far too elite. Who can hate a brother like that? I don't understand. Really. I don't understand how you can hate that. Unless you're a racist, right? You're Mexican and you hate black people. Okay. So you might as well just say, I'm Mexican, I hate black people. And then you don't need to leave a comment because we know exactly what you think before you even say it. Or you're an Errol Spence fanboy, and then we know you're fucking completely biased already. You got fucking Spence's dick up your ass. So literally, you're going to fucking shit on Crawford consistently already. But outside of that, I don't understand why he should be so negative to Bud Crawford. Takai versus Higa, number 2 fight of the year. Don't forget Rip Gloves. Once again, who gives a fuck? Like, see, these are kind of things that, as a boxing fan, I don't care about. I didn't care about Aaron Pryor's fucking juice bottle when he fought Alexis Arguello. And I don't care about fucking Bud Crawford's Rip Gloves. He hit so hard, his gloves fucking explode. What a man. Dude, Superman. Don't forget Rip Gloves. Jose Cervino Jr., Devin will retire next fight, win, lose, or draw. That would be a shame because it's so early in his career. If he retired after the Ryan Garcia rematch, that would be a bad look. But at the same time, I wouldn't be sad to say bye-bye because, he's not a fighter I enjoy watching. And the bullshit him and his dad bring to the sport, fine. Please leave so we don't have to listen to the LDBC fucking, dick ride you anymore. People just speak for the sake of speaking. There's literally no evidence that Bud is more chinny than Teo. They've both been hurt multiple times. Every time I spell blah, blah, blah's name, it causes the shit emoji to populate. He clearly been hurt versus Gamboa, Mean Machine, while Teo is more cause he had a hole in his chest. Otherwise, Teo never been hurt. Man, you forget his fight with fucking Lomachenko, right? When the dude looked like he was on death's doorstep. He looked like he was out. That's why I praise him, because he came back in the 12th round and fucking rallied and won the fight in the 12th round. When he looked like that dude was fucking going to get flatlined in the 12th round after he got his ass beat down in 9, 10, and 11th round by Lomachenko. Bud would never get dropped by Kambosos or Sandor Martin. That's a fact. Straight fact. He got dropped twice by Sandor Martin. Sean, you don't care, but it's true. Deny all you want, but I guarantee you with safe gloves, he loses his power that he left at 154. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care. Why do you care? What are you? Fucking his opponent's mom? It's funny how Devin got Bud broken by Ryan among all people. Huh? It's funny how Devin got Bud broken by Ryan among all people. I don't get it. Chin this, chin that. Hitting Bud's chin has been done, and it's not that easy. Got hurt by a small 130 guy, Gamboa, and dropped by a 147 B-level fighter in Mean Machine. Mexican boxing #1. What are you trying to say? Do I need to go through historical great Mexican fighters that fucking got dropped by bum-ass opponents? Like, in boxing, if you get hit, there's a chance you're going to get dropped. That's the sport. Who gives a fuck? If you get up to go on to then beat their ass like fucking Felix Trinidad did, like Miguel Cotto did, those two Puerto Rican motherfuckers made a name for themselves getting knocked down in the first or second rounds of fucking fights again and again and again and again and again, only to then get up to proceed to beat the fuck out of their opponents. Right? Like, what's your point? I mean, I know you got no point. It's just blind hate towards Bud Crawford. And with your name, it just makes it seem like it's based on race. And if that's the case, that's kind of sad, man, because you're not making your people look good, right? Making Mexicans look racist is not a fucking look you should be propagating. I meant heartbroken by, my bad. Oh, okay, heartbroken. Mexican boxing isn't even #1. Change that name. Top 3 pound-for-pound fighters are Usyk, Nui, and Bud. You could put Canelo at #4, right? So top 5. Mexican fighters definitely have a lot of champions right now. Mexico's probably doing better than Black America right now. Japan is doing good as well. But whatever. Mexican boxers, man, great. Fun to watch, exciting. Historical great fighters like Salvador Sanchez. No one's hating on Mexican fighters. I mean, just yesterday I was defending Canelo Alvarez like fucking crazy. Mexican boxing #1. Where were you yesterday when I needed you? But, you know, the irony is we're not even talking about Bud Crawford. We're mostly focused on this Beterbiev Bivol fight. But let's move to point 2. This is, of course, the card. I mean, it's not a bad card next week. When you look at it, I mean, Beterbiev, Bivol, nice fight. J.O. Pataya is back in the ring. Fabio Wardy versus Clark 2. That fight was a great fight. Seeing it in a rematch, obviously very good. Sky Nicholson is back. Chris Eubank versus Shirmeta. It is what it is. A fight nobody cares about. But if we can watch Chris Eubank get knocked out in his next fight, great. So here's some fights that are being talked about. So it's being rumored that Carlos Adames will defend his title versus Kazakhstanian fighter Marin Nursultanov, 20-0 with 11 KOs. Don't be surprised if fucking the Kazakhstani fighter beats Carlos Adames, right? Don't be surprised, because Carlos Adames ain't that good, right? And you taking on a dangerous, unbeaten opponent from Kazakhstan like this, easily that guy could end up fucking taking an L. It's actually a pretty good card, though. It would have been better, of course, if Shakur was on it, but The way they were trying to do that card was fucking just mental anyway. Why don't you like Eubanks? Who likes fucking Eubanks? The guy fucking talks fucking as much as Tio and Ryan and consistently gives us fucking nothing like Tio and Ryan. That guy talked his way into a Golovkin fight only to fucking forget his pen, right? He doesn't help boxing. All he is fucking a guy trying to get a payday. Canelo isn't Mexican, he's Irish. Oh, come on. Mexicans with red hair is nothing fucking new. If you don't know that, then you don't know. Right now, we run the sport. We bring the numbers, the popularity of the sport in America. The numbers prove this. In America, it's true. And that just tells you how shit American boxing fans are. Face of boxing is Canelo, and the biggest American star is Mexican-American Ryan Garcia. Well, I wouldn't fucking hang my hat on Ryan Garcia. He makes your people look bad because he's a complete fucking douchebag. Is Adama scheduled to fight this guy you're referring to? It's being rumored that that fight is going to happen. I don't know if it's confirmed yet. That pay-per-view wall got me confused as well. That shit was crazy. And then, of course, you got this Jose Valenzuela fight versus Andy Hiroka, who just fought recently in Japan. Andy Hiroka, a tough Japanese fighter, good power. That fight's a good fight, right? I'm intrigued to see how that fight matches up. I would not be surprised once again to see Andy Hiroka beat Valenzuela, because we've seen Valenzuela get knocked the fuck out by De Los Santos, right? And De Los Santos is not that great of a fighter. So these are two fights that I could easily see the PBC fighter take a loss to, right? And then have these unknown fighters take their titles. For the Japanese fighter, that'd be great because obviously it'd be another Japanese world champion. So we would be keen for that. And for Kazakhstan, obviously it'd be nice for them to get another champion, especially at that weight, even though I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because what's the likelihood that Janibek is going to fight his countryman, right? Hollow Ninja, once again, he's showing you people what you should do. Thank you very much, my man. Some people don't know boxing at all. All they do is compare everything and everyone to Floyd or Canelo. What happened to analyzing styles and abilities? Well, most of these guys can't do that, so they'd rather just throw out rhetoric. Ryo schools Tank at 140. He's too big. That's why Tank faces smaller guys at 130 and weight trains big guys in Ryan and Rolly. To be fair, I think fucking Tank Davis decapitates Ryo at 140. That's why I don't understand why he's making a big deal about it. But it is what it is. Sean, you should call into the boxing voice and defend your hero Bud then. No, I don't fucking fuck with Ness and the bunch of fucking plebs that he's got in his show. Right? Ness is better than he used to be. But from day one, that dude was fucking stupid, didn't know shit about boxing, right? And had the stupidest fucking American-centric takes. And was a fucking PBC fanboy. Obviously, he's started to learn about the sport and moved off of that, but still, he's still ignorant as fuck. Mexico gets Canelo fight for free, which really shows how popular he is. They should get fucking Canelo for free, for sure. Give back to the people. That's what Tank Davis refuses to do. He's fighting a fucking dude from DC area, and instead of giving that back to the DC people free, which would be fucking something that would have people excited about the fight, and then we could talk about the, matchup between two DC fighters, but he's going to fight the dude in fucking Houston. Why? Just as Mexican boxing number one tells you, so they can get the Mexican money behind the fight card, right? Because that's the only way they're going to sell pay-per-views. So they bring it to Texas, put fucking David Benavidez on the undercard, and pray that Mexican money is going to fucking somehow make that fight successful. It's sad but true. I think Ryo would have at least been live against Tank. He hits harder than Barrios and Pitbull Cruz. Man, I don't think the kid's that good. He beat Isaac Cruz, but that doesn't say much. We won't buy that. What do you mean? David Benavidez, the Mexican monster. Here's the other big fights after the Beterbiev Bivol match on Saturday. Then on Sunday and Monday, the 13th and the 14th, you have these two cards come out of Japan. We talked about it briefly yesterday, but these cards are fucking stacked. If you don't pay attention to these cards, I will tell you now, you're not a real fucking boxing fan. And if you're not a real boxing fan, you should get the fuck off my channel because I got no time for you. Because the cards they're putting together, double header, matchup, Prime Video, going to make the PBC. Prime Video have been working with Japanese boxers well before the PBC signed that deal. And amazingly, these are not pay-per-view. So Prime Video is actually putting out fight cards for free. Just not PBC. Tank is getting old. Come on, the dude's not even 30. I don't think DMV area is going to purchase that fight like that. Well, that's why they should have brought it free to the DMV, right? Bring it back to the people. Show your fucking respect for people that support you. I was so shocked Cruz lost to Rayo. I said this before. I wasn't shocked. I thought Rayo could beat him if he was able to establish his jab and keep the fight at his distance, because Isaac Cruz is one-dimensional, right? David's dad is English, is disrespectful, but in Spanish shows is super nice. So Two-Face. I don't understand. David dad in English is disrespectful, but in Spanish shows is super nice. Yeah, David's dad's a douchebag. That's why I said earlier, all these fathers, dickheads. But let's look closer at this. So there we go. So I know we talked about this yesterday, but this is a great card. You have Tenshin Nasukawa, the same guy Floyd Mayweather fought. That kid's looking fucking great. He's like a fight or two away from becoming a world champion, right? You got Junto Nakatani, who we know they're trying to get ready for a potential Inui fight, even though True School Sports would rather have fucking Inui go to 126 so that Angelo Leo could get knocked out by him, but, and walk away from fucking the biggest fight in Japanese boxing history. Imagine that. But you're a boxing fan. But you don't want fucking Japanese boxing fans to get historically the best thing that could happen for them, right? Junto is in with a tough Thai fighter. He's going to kill him. Kosi Tanaka in with a very tough game South African. Don't be surprised if Kafu, the South African fighter, pulls the upset and wins the WBO title. And Anthony Olasakaga, who trains with Junto Nakatani, is looking great, right? And he's fighting ex-world champion Jonathan Gonzalez. Very difficult opponent, a guy that is far too defensive, right? So the fight could really be ugly. So it's going to be important to see if Anthony can cut off that ring and get to him. Potentially not a fight to make him look good, but nonetheless, still a great fight. What happened? I have two pictures. Where's my other picture? Oh, there it is. How did that disappear? So there, of course, is the other card, which is the Sunday card, the day before, when you have Junto Nakatani's future opponent in Takumi Inui, which is going to be a 118-pound unification fight. So that when he knocks out Inui, then Inui, the brother, can have a huge revenge fight in Japan. That shit, you couldn't fucking write it any better. It's just excellent. He's going to be facing Tsutsumi, who, of course, Brandon was acting like is going to upset Inui, but obviously he hasn't been watching a Inui fight recently. Inui fucking technically has looked brilliant. That's not what you could say about Tsutsumi. Tsutsumi was losing his fight with the guy that he fought last time, easily getting outboxed, but unfortunately for that guy, he ended up fucking getting hit too much in the head and ended up dying, right? So Tsutsumi ended up getting the victory. But in a fight, he easily could have fucking lost. Right? With Inui, he's not going to have nearly as much success. He's not going to land nearly as many power shots against Inui. He's going to fucking be masterclassed. Then, of course, Awada against Noriega, good fight. Akui defending his title. And Kenshiro Teraji, literally a guy who easily should be pound for pound top 10, right? Very good fighter, trying to become a two-weight world champion. So this card is dynamite, right? Really, really a good card. One I'm super excited about. Where are we? You're wrong. BT would love a Nakatani Inui fight. No, David, he doesn't. He just made a video saying that he hopes that Inui fights Sam Goodman and moves to 126 because he wants to see Inui at super bantamweight. That's what he wants. He doesn't want Junto to get a fight with Inui. He'd prefer that Angela Leo would get the fight with fucking Inui. Like anyone gives a fuck about Angela Leo versus Inui. It's not a fight that anyone cares about. With all the fights you could do at 126 pounds, that's probably the least interesting out of all of them. Ball in the UK, way more fucking marketable, way bigger fight, far more interesting. For ESPN top rank, Espinoza, far better fight. Mexican fans would get behind it. It'd make more sense. It'd be a far more intriguing matchup, right? Angelo Leo is fourth or fifth as potential opponents, but because he's got a relationship to him, he's blind to the reality, and he'd rather push for that as opposed to do what's really best for boxing fans. Because boxing fans are not asking for a fucking Angelo Leo fight. Nobody. Yup, another Mexican-American is called the Princess. Who's called the Princess? Junto versus Inui, the battle of the rising sun. It's a shame Jermel poo-poo his career away. I thought he was the most talented Charlo. Well, apparently he's coming back. He might even be on that Tank Davis undercard. So, cross your fingers and we will see. How good is Takuma? Takuma lost early on when he tried for a world title in a competitive fight, but by a more experienced fighter who just did better than him. But since then, he's fucking gotten great. Really good. His last 2 or 3 performances, he's been excellent. Excellent, right? Like a fight between him and Junto Nakatani is no fucking cakewalk. No cakewalk at all. That's why Inui is proudly pushing his brother forward because he feels that fucking Inui, Takuma, could beat fucking Junto Nakatani. Naomi ain't unbeatable. He got dropped at 126. He loses. Naomi isn't unbeatable. He got dropped at 126. He loses. He didn't get dropped at 126. He got dropped at 122 by the hardest puncher in the division in Luis Neri. And who's going to beat him at 126? It's okay to talk, flap your gums, have your mouth fucking go, blah, blah, blah. But before you make stupid comments, you might want to give a little more context. True, but Angelo beats him. Angelo don't beat fucking anyone. He beat a bum-ass fucking overrated dude who was weight drained. Congratulations. We saw that guy get beat already by a guy that Inui destroyed. I want Inui versus Ball in the UK. It makes far more sense. That fight's marketable, right? And stylistically, it'd be fun. Now Espinoza stops Naomi. Now, sure he does. Anthony Oscalago, the Princess. Is that what they call him? La Princesa is his nickname. Means princess. Yes, I have questions too. Really? What the fuck, man? The new age people, eh? Fucking the Princess. Okay, then I bet you at 126 he loses. Oh, so you mean Inui might lose in his 5th weight division? Wow. That would be fucking unreal. Can you imagine a fighter potentially losing in his 5th weight division? I bet you couldn't tell me one fighter that you support that's even fucking been a champion in 5 weight divisions. You got 500. Question is, do you? Is your mom going to fucking lend you that much money? But Here we have Ring Magazine's new pound for pound list. Obviously, you're going to have the same old fucking casual trolls getting upset because Bud Crawford is not number one. Even though, as I say, JB today made a perfect fucking example of why Bud Crawford shouldn't be pound for pound number one, because it's not based on how many titles you won. It's based on the quality of opposition you faced. And that is obviously lacking in Bud Crawford's resume compared to Usyk, right? But I guess he'll be upset because he will feel that Bud Crawford's level of opposition is better than Inui. That's questionable. But, for me, I think obviously those three fighters, easily the best. It makes no problem with whoever you have number one. But for Usyk fighting guys 60 pounds, 50 pounds bigger, it's justified. And then Canelo at number 4, also justified. Then you have Bam Rodriguez at number 5. That might be a little too high for him at this point, but his victory against Estrada was pretty dominant. But to be fair, Estrada was coming off of a long layoff, right? I would prefer to have Tank Davis at number 5. And I know people don't like Tank Davis, feel he hasn't done what he needed to do. I'm one of them. But at the same time, like Golovkin, Tank Davis has done what he needed to do against the opposition he's faced. So I definitely think he deserves to be number 5 above Bam Rodriguez. He's number 5 on my pound for pound list. And then Beterbiev and Bivol underneath of that. I would probably put Bam just behind Beterbiev with Bivol at number 8. So Usyk, Inui or Bud, Canelo, Tank Davis, Beterbiev, Bam Rodriguez, Bivol, Junto Nakatani. And then as far as Devin Haney at number 10, I know that Ring Magazine is clout chasing. The truth is, I don't know if you could put Devin Haney there based on his last performance. Even though the fight was called a no contest, the point was this was a guy who wasn't able to make adjustments, consistently got hit by the same punch again and again and again. I would feel more comfortable putting a Shakur Stevenson in this position. And Shakur is a 3-weight world champion, right? He deserves to be at that position as much as Devin Haney does. And the one thing we can say about Shakur is we haven't seen him get his ass beat in the ring, right? But we have seen Devin Haney get his ass beat in the ring. And no matter how much people want to erase that, you can't erase it because it happened. So, it is what it is. I wouldn't put Devin Haney number 10 on my list. I would prefer to put Shakur Stevenson at that position on my list. I always felt Shakur was a better fighter than Devin Haney anyway, so it feels justified for me. But overall, I mean, you got most of the right players on this list. Devin Haney, to be fair, it's not bad having him on this list. He was undisputed. He's a 2-weight world champion, even though currently he doesn't have a title. He's champion in recess. So based on Ring IQ's stuff, he shouldn't be on the list because he doesn't have a title. So I would feel more comfortable putting Lomachenko at number 10. And actually, I think on my list, I would put Lomachenko at number 10. Lomachenko's a world champion. He just did what no other fighter could do before, which was destroy and stop George Kambosos, something that Devin Haney couldn't do in 2 fights, something George Kambosos Teo couldn't do because Teo got beat by him and dropped. But Lomachenko made easy work of him, stopped him, and sent his ass back to fucking Australia to fucking play with the Kangaroos. So I think I'd have Lomachenko at number 10. I mean, obviously he's done more than Shakur because he's a 3-weight world champion, was 3-belt unified. Obviously now is a 2-time lightweight world champion. So just based on what he's done more. And even if you don't think he beat Devin Haney, you got to be honest and say that the fight was so competitive, he could have won that fight as well, right? So, that's a better performance and a better opponent than anybody by a fucking long shot that Shakur Stevenson fought. But, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Is that Mayweather effect John? people trying to act like there's a bunch of people more active than Canelo, and they took him off the pound for pound list. What a shame. Well, they just don't like Canelo. Before it was because he failed a PED test. Now he's not as active. I already showed this. In 2000 to 2024, there's no other fighter in boxing who's been more active than fucking Canelo Alvarez. He's fought 11 times in 4 years. 11. And he is the A-side, the fucking pay-per-view king, the face of American boxing. Yet he's fighting more than all these young up-and-comer fucking dudes that have a lot to prove. Drew Titan and BFTB say Usyk avoided Wilder. It's really disgusting. Well, of course they would, because those dudes fucking blow fucking Wilder. Literally. That's what they do. They're LDBC guys. They fucking went down and fucking blow fucking Wilder, right? That's how fucking sad and pathetic those fucking dudes are. So you can't fucking listen to anything they say. The reality is the dude that fucking whooped Wilder's ass twice just got beat and dropped by fucking Usyk. Usyk's fucking legacy is fucking leaps and bounds better than fucking Deontay Wilder as an amateur and a pro. It ain't even fucking comparable. But these dudes still fucking dick riding fucking Wilder because that's what they do. Haney and Wilder, they're taking it because that's how pathetic those fucking channels are. And I guess it's more pathetic the people that actually ride with them. Hello Ninja, thank you very much. Come across a video titled, "Why is Bud Crawford Still Ducking Thurman? The laughter is making my soul leave my body." How do people come up with this? Ducking Thurman. When was the last time Thurman fought? Isn't he the guy that just pulled out of a Tim Tszyu fight? Is he even relevant? Nobody even talks about him anymore because he had his last opportunity and he fucking dropped the dice again. I'm surprised Inui's dad, Papachenko, aren't talked about in Trainers of the Year. Of course they're not, because they're not black. Right? And they don't train black fighters, black Americans. So they're no good. And unlike others, they're not all over social media fucking talking out their asses. They just do what they got to do. Lead their sons to greatness and let their sons be the superstar and take a seat back. They're not trying to live vicariously through their sons. They're not trying to get all the attention. They're not attention whores like all these other fucking dads. Fucking literally attention whores. I guess it's an American thing. It's totally a fucking American thing. By Wilder is a bigger star. But Wilder is a bigger star. Wilder's a bigger star than who? Usyk? Where? In America, nobody gives a fuck about Deontay Wilder. They never did. That's why his pay-per-view numbers were shit. Usyk globally is a way bigger star than fucking Wilder. Why isn't John Boxing talking about Bruce Carrington robbing Sullivan? Actually, he mentioned it today. He said that, talk about contradicting yourself in a video. He said that Bob Arum needs to put Carrington in with better opposition. And then he said, you know, he doesn't know if Carrington actually beat Sullivan, who was good competition. And Top Rank needs to put Carrington in with better competition. Well, isn't that what they just fucking did? And the dude fucking arguably lost the fight. Right? So, I mean, you should leave it to Top Rank and the people who've been doing this for a long time, the matchmakers who are fucking the best matchmakers in boxing, because they know what they're doing. I mean, they have fucking a long history of fucking over 50 years of doing it. But yet, stupid motherfuckers like him, you know, they're going to dick ride fucking Al Heyman and the PBC, who just make cherry pick matchups, but then be critical of Top Rank, who fucking has a long line of history, has all the great young fighters, but yet somehow we're going to still criticize them because Bruce Carrington isn't a superstar yet. He ain't a superstar yet because Top Rank isn't that confident with him. If they were, they would have moved him faster. He said he was the next big thing. Now he's quiet. People should respect Wilder because he did not make an excuse to crime and started doing boxing at 19 for his daughter. But as a boxer, I mean, come on, he's a novelty act. Yeah. And that's what people were more than happy to give him that praise. But the problem is people like the LDBC comparing him to fucking Muhammad Ali, talking about how he was harder puncher than George Foreman, talking about him being fucking this great historical fucking heavyweight, shitting on Golovkin, but then dick riding Wilder. Yet Golovkin's resume, Golovkin's fucking career, better than Wilder. He did everything Wilder did and more. Yet he was heavily criticized by the same people that dick ride fucking Wilder. And Golovkin never got knocked the fuck out, ever. Do you believe Rick Glacier's 400K pay-per-view buy number for Canelo Berlanga? I know Rick hates PBC, so not sure if he's just hating. Well, if you're going to roll with Rick, then you roll with Rick consistently. If you don't give a fuck about numbers, then you don't pay much attention to what it is. There's been talk that it was 700,000, Rick saying 400,000. To be fair, I would not be surprised if it did more than Munguia, and Munguia did 500,000. But regardless, it's doing more than fucking Tank Davis. Hello, Ninja. Thank you very much. It's a fight. You are going to get hit and possibly get dropped. Why do people use that as a reason to determine who wins a fight? Bud getting hit by Gamboa and Inui dropped by Neary means nothing. Means nothing if they get up and then fucking dominate and destroy the guys. Then it shows you fucking a lot about them, their heart, their determination, right? They didn't crumble because they ran into fucking, some issues. Not like Devin Haney. Whenever that guy gets hit, he looks a lot like fucking Anthony Joshua, right? That's a fair comparison. Whenever fucking Devin Haney gets dinged, he looks a lot like fucking Anthony Joshua, right? Both those dudes look like fucking, they're totally fucking out of fucking, out of it. Your mom is going to be mad at you spending all her money on super chats. Salute. That's the American ESPN machine making Shushu the next best thing to face Inui. Well, the truth is, ESPN knows what to do, right? They know how to do this shit. They've been doing it for years. They're going to move Shushu at the level they think is appropriate, right? And at a certain point, then they're going to put him in to be tested like they did with Howard, like they did with Elvis Rodriguez. You either step up or you fucking step out. And that time is coming for Shushu. And I have faith. He looks good. He had one bad performance, but, you can't hold a bad performance against a kid. That's an example where boxers didn't merit the big-time promotion, but John won't say that. He will only say how foreigners came out of nowhere to get hyped for no reason. Well, the reality is we know why boxing promoters prefer foreigners. They're easier to work with. They're more focused, more determined. They fucking talk less bullshit, right? They're easy to negotiate with, right? That's why. That's why HBO and all these people went for foreign fighters as opposed to Black Americans. Because who wanted to deal with the bullshit, right? Who wanted to deal with the drama? And people are going to get in their feelings, but that's fucking 100% factual. You might not like it, but it doesn't change it. Look what fucking the PBC's top fighters did to themselves. Every single one of them shot themselves in the foot, whether they were twerking online, fucking crashing cars, fucking having mental health issues, fucking whatever else they were fucking doing. They consistently were fucking hurting themselves. Shakur had assault charges outside. Fucking, so did Kovalev, so did Bivol. Yeah, sure. It happens, right? But you're going to list two fucking dudes that allegedly had problems. Neither went to jail for allegedly anything that happened to them. We also didn't see videos of it, right? Whereas these other guys, we saw them fucking on fucking PBC events. Nah, she's happy. I make bank. She told me to tell you, JA, to leave your mama's house. Sean, he lost. Stop the cap. Majority people said he lost or draw. Who? Shushu. Yeah, he got the victory though, and it's a learning opportunity. Like you never had a fighter you like have a piss poor performance. It's normal, right? I said the same thing about Munguia and Berlanga. Munguia, a Mexican, right? They can learn from losing to Canelo Alvarez and get better. For Shushu, that's why Top Rank moves fighters the way they do, so they can get better, learn, and improve. Shushu is one of the next crop of fighters dropping the toxic Mayweather influence. Well, he's not like that. You ever listen to him talk? He's a cool kid. Real down to earth, smart, fucking not like the rest of these clowns. I got 8-2, 7-3. No way Shushu won 7-3. He was missing all night badly. Tank only fights Uber drivers, but he's on the pound for pound list. Come on, Evis. Let's be fair. They're not fucking Uber drivers. They're not necessarily fucking superstars or pound for pound fighters, but he's fighting primarily fucking quality opponents, just not elite opponents, right? And at this point of his career, we want to see him challenge himself against other elite fighters. That's it. Shushu ain't he getting stopped by Angelo Leo, all 126 champs. Nick Ball completely obliterates him. Raymond Ford better than Shushu. Maybe. We got to see what happens. Do you believe Henry Cooper was robbed versus Ali with the glove cutting controversy? No, because once again, I don't care. If you're a smart corner man, right, and your fighter just got knocked down by a huge left hook by one of the best fucking guys to throw left hooks in boxing, a very underrated fighter. You know, the majority of these clowns that have YouTube channels don't even know who fucking Henry Cooper is, right? But yet they'll tell you about Ali and how he was hated because he was black. But they don't even know who fucking Henry Cooper was, right? But we're going to listen to these fucking dumbasses. I mean, if your corner is smart enough to cut your glove so that you can get more time, it's a smart move. It's like spitting out your fucking mouthpiece. It's like, you know, making sure your tape is undone so then they have to fucking retape it. You do whatever it takes to protect your fighter's interests. It's not your job to fucking worry about the other fucking corner. It's not your job to worry about fucking the referee. It's his job to do his job, right? Your job is to protect your fighter. And that's what's his face? Who's Ali's fucking trainer? Sugar Ray Leonard's trainer? How come I can't? Angelo Dundee. You know, Angelo Dundee showed you fucking how smart he was. That's what you should do. It was a smart move. If you were in the corner of course, Henry Cooper, you'd fucking lose your shit and you'd want fucking a disqualification. You'd be saying everything. But the reality is Ali was the fucking A side. That shit was never going to happen. That's what I mean, Sean. Shushu sounds like an adult, not like these other grown children like Shakur, Devin, Teal. Yeah, I like listening to the kid, right? Like if you want to talk about having a good kid represent your promotional company, he's the one. And he's been showing power, ability. Obviously, this fight didn't go so well, but hopefully he'll learn and get better because he's a great face for fucking 126 pounds for Top Rank ESPN. Okay, but Teo had way better opposition. Well, two fighters that were way better. Two. Come on. Calm down. Yeah, he fought Loma and he fought fucking Taylor. Great opponents. Outside of that, he didn't fight anyone else that was better than anyone fucking that Tank Davis was fought. He's been too inactive, fought fucking some scrub-ass opponents, and looked bad against them too. I used to like Shakur, but he pisses me off now. Which fighter was tough or at their best? Who? What? Extrapolate. I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, Jose, but he's less talented. He was missing too much and got hurt bad at times. The crowd booed him. Yeah, boxing facts, but that's one fight. You're going to hold one bad performance against somebody as if other fighters haven't had bad performances. It's normal. Tank actually comes across likable in his interviews. sort of like a lost kid. I agree. I don't dislike Tank. I like Tank Davis. I mean, the way I need to fucking go against him all the time, specifically mostly against haters of Canelo Alvarez, makes you think that I would hate him. And then of course JB talking like I hate every single black fighter. Yet whenever I fucking defend a black fighter like AJ or fucking Bud Crawford or somebody else, then obviously I'm just using them. But I like Tank Davis. He's one of my favorite fighters in boxing. And that's why I want to see him in with better competition. Right? Do you focus mainly on today's boxing or not so much history stuff? I don't focus too much on history. I always focused on what I watched. So what I watched is, for most of you guys, historic, because it goes back to Ali, Foreman, Frazier, and the 1970s, right? But before that, I mean, obviously I watch documentaries. I'm aware of people. I pay attention a bit, but I leave that to boxing library and other people that's their passion, right? Dudes that are scrolling through the history books. Today, the Golden Boy press conference card. That's amazing card. The best 105 guys fighting Oscar Collazo, new kid on the block, and that Tham has ruled that division for 8 years. That's a great fight. Who's Collazo fighting? I like Oscar Collazo. Good fucking Puerto Rican fighter. Obviously, he's got to do some unification fights at that division. Tham, who's a Thai fighter, right? So is he going to fight him? Is that what's happening? Are we finally getting a unification fight? True hardcore boxing fans will like that scrap. Lineal will be on the line first time at 105. It's amazing. Let's fucking go here and see what you motherfuckers are talking about. Minimum weight. Collazo. 10-0. 7 KOs. I was hoping he was going to fight the Japanese guy, but fucking both the Japanese brothers ended up losing, which was a shame. Okay, so he's going to fight Nim Trong. Nice, the Thai fighter, 25-0. That's a good fight. Solid. Riyadh season. There you go, man. Fucking Riyadh season, right? Riyadh season bringing unification fights even to 105 fucking pounds, right? This was a division that had 2 Thai fucking champions, right? Remember Monsu, the guy that was trying to break Floyd Mayweather's record. You could have had those 2 guys fight for unification for years, and that fight never happened, which was definitely disappointing. Definitely disappointing. Oh, look at that card. So Zurdo Ramirez, Billum Smith, Carlos Ramirez, Barboza, Collazo versus Nim Trong, Duarte versus Kenneth Sims Jr., Zepeda versus Tevin Farmer. That shit is fucking dynamite. That's a great card. And it's happening in Saudi Arabia. Eh? Fucking Oscar is getting paid some cash to let his fighters go over to Saudi Arabia for that. But that's dynamite. This is a dynamite fucking card. Zepeda, Duarte, Collazo, Ramirez, fucking Nim Trong, fucking Barboza, Ramirez, Smith, and even Kenneth Sims, man. Kenneth Sims and fucking Duarte, great fight. Every single fight here is a 50-50 fight outside of Zepeda versus Tevin Farmer. That fight, Tevin Farmer is not going to go 6 fucking rounds. But outside of that fight, every fight's a real 50-50 matchup. Dude, that's the guy who ruled 105 for 8 years. Yeah, but never fought his countryman, Munsuri. That's a better card than Bivol Beterbiev card, honestly. I agree 100%. I weigh more than those dudes at 10 years old. 105, I don't think I ever watched that low. 108 or 112 has been it. Well, there's been a lot of really good fighters that started at 105 and obviously moved up, right? The problem is you have quite a few fighters like Nim Trong and Munsuri and some other guys who always fought at that division, never moved up. So obviously they were very small. They never outgrew that division. Now, of course, you have the 2 Japanese brothers. Where are they? Obviously, they both ended up losing. which was disappointing, right? There they are there. Shigyoko, 9-1 and 11-1. You still have, of course, Hansbo Durmanov, who just won an Olympic fucking gold medal, 31 years old, 6-0, who's right there for a world title fight as well. He better be getting a world title fight soon, because how long are you going to fucking be waiting around? I know he ended up spending all his time focusing on the Olympics, but this kid needs to get a world title fight sooner or later, man, right? Kelvin Jerusalem, who just obviously had a big victory, right? Beat fucking Sigoko and then defended his title against Castillo. Tan Durham, who just beat the other kid, Japanese kid right there in his last fight, stopping him in 9 rounds to win the IBF title. This division's got some good opponents. Even when you go down here, guys like Vic Salander, Wilfredo Mendez, not bad. And obviously, it's great we're getting a unification fight here. And then you got this Chinese kid. I don't know who he is. Dian Qingzhu, 14-1, 12 KOs. Who did he lose to? Okay, it was a long time ago in China. He's finally started to fight outside of China, Korea. Is that Vietnam? Philippines, Thailand. It's amazing the things you can always learn about boxing. Thank you very much. You're a fucking prince. I love Tank, but he's just cruising through his prime years on a slow boat, no waves. Tio, Devin, Ryan, Loma are all on surfboards with huge tidal waves. Well, that's the thing, right? You fight legitimate opposition, you're going to take losses. Finito Lopez and Naomi 108. Yeah, but then you also had Carbajal, right? And who's the other Puerto Rican kid who was really dominant for a while until he ended up getting beat. Facts, even when he fought Garcia, he had to drain him. Yeah, in hindsight, it's a bad look, right? Because when you look at Garcia in the Tank Davis fight, and then you look at Garcia in the Haney fight, it's fucking night and day. Night and day. But thanks, everyone, for jumping in. I'm going to call it a day. It's almost 12 o'clock here. So peace out. Obviously, we got boxing this weekend. Nothing big. Obviously, next weekend is the big weekend. Obviously, that card with Beterbiev and Bivol, and then that Japanese doubleheader. So there's a lot to pay attention to Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So it's going to be a jam-packed weekend of boxing. Obviously, I'm going to be in and around talking about it. So jump in, join me, and we will chop it up. Thanks very much. Hollow Ninja, you're a prince among men. The rest of you guys could learn from him. So thanks, everyone. I will see you next time. And just look how today went. Hardly fucking that much trolling at all. A little bit of trolling, but not as much as yesterday. I appreciate that. See you guys later. Peace out. Enjoy your day. I'll enjoy mine. Still not raining yet.